The Anunnaki, our forbidden origins. What if everything we know about human history is a lie? What if the stories we've been told, the history written in textbooks, the origins of humanity, the rise of civilization, are just fragments of a much greater and more mysterious truth? What if, hidden in ancient texts thousands of years old, lies the key to our true origins, one that challenges everything we think we know? Across time and cultures, myths of powerful beings descending from the heavens have been passed down. But what if they weren't myths at all? What if these beings were real, flesh and blood, and their presence shaped our past in ways we are only beginning to understand? This is the story of the Anunnaki, the so-called gods of the ancient Sumerians, who, according to ancient records, may not have been gods at all. Deep in the cradle of civilization, nestled between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, the Sumerian civilization flourished over 6,000 years ago. Considered the world's first advanced society, the Sumerians were the pioneers of writing, mathematics, astronomy, and law. But how did they acquire such advanced knowledge seemingly out of nowhere? The Sumerians themselves left behind an answer that modern scholars often dismiss as mythology. Yet it remains one of the most compelling mysteries of the ancient world. They claim their knowledge came from the Anunnaki, a race of powerful beings who descended from the heavens and guided them in their development. Unlike mere legends, the accounts of these beings are meticulously recorded in ancient cuneiform tablets, the oldest known written documents in human history. But who were the Anunnaki? Were they gods, celestial beings, or something far more complex? Why do ancient Sumerian records describe them as gods from the stars? And why do these descriptions so eerily align with modern-day theories about extraterrestrial contact? These texts don't speak in vague, mythical terms, but instead describe an advanced, structured civilization of beings who arrived on Earth with a purpose. Some texts even go as far as to detail their hierarchical order, conflicts, and direct interactions with humanity. If the Sumerians, one of the oldest known cultures, truly believed their knowledge came from extraterrestrial beings, should we dismiss their words, or should we take a closer look? Throughout history, similar stories of gods or celestial visitors can be found in cultures across the world. From the Egyptian pharaohs claiming divine ancestry, to the Mayan gods descending from the sky, and even the biblical accounts of beings coming down from the heavens, these myths share a disturbing, common thread. Could these legends be distorted echoes of the same hidden truth? Could it be that ancient humans were not merely visited, but created and guided by beings of superior intelligence? And if so, where did they go? Have they truly left us, or have they been watching from the shadows, waiting for the right moment to return? The ancient astronaut theory suggests that our ancestors may have misinterpreted advanced beings as gods simply because they lacked the words or concepts to describe them. Were the Anunnaki real? And if so, were they extraterrestrial beings who once walked among us? If these records are even partially true, then the implications are staggering. Everything we believe about our past, our religions, our civilizations, our very existence, might need to be re-examined. In this video, we will explore the forbidden history of the Anunnaki, decipher the ancient texts that speak of their arrival, and uncover what may be the greatest cover-up in human history. Stay with us until the end, because once you see the evidence, you'll never look at history the same way again. Who were the Anunnaki? The name Anunnaki has captivated historians, archaeologists, and truth-seekers for decades. Rooted in ancient Sumerian mythology, the name itself carries a haunting implication: those who came from heaven to earth. But who exactly were these beings, and why did the first recorded civilization in human history venerate them as gods? Were they purely mythological figures, abstract symbols of natural forces, or could they have been something far more tangible? Perhaps even extraterrestrial visitors who influenced the dawn of civilization? The Sumerians flourished in Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, over 6,000 years ago, establishing the world's first advanced civilization. They developed cuneiform writing, intricate mathematical systems, advanced astronomical knowledge, and even a structured legal code, all before most human societies had even begun to form. But how did such an advanced society arise so suddenly? The Sumerians themselves provide an astonishing answer. Their knowledge was given to them by the Anunnaki. These powerful deities were described not as distant, abstract gods, but as real physical beings who descended from the heavens and directly interacted with human beings. Ancient Sumerian texts, such as the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation myth, and the Epic of Gilgamesh describe the Anunnaki as powerful figures who shaped human destiny. They were not portrayed as omnipotent, all-knowing deities, but rather as a highly organized, ruling class of advanced beings. Some were described as great architects and leaders, while others were warriors, scholars, and judges. They were believed to have built the first great cities, taught humanity agriculture, metallurgy, and writing, and established laws to govern society. But the Anunnaki were not a unified, harmonious group. Sumerian records detail conflicts among them, power struggles, and even disagreements about their relationship with humans. Some texts depict the Anunnaki as benevolent teachers, while others suggest that they saw humans as mere servants created to fulfill their needs. This complexity in their characterization has led many to believe that the Anunnaki were not mythological at all, but were instead actual beings with a structured society, perhaps even extraterrestrial in origin. What makes the Anunnaki even more fascinating is the uncanny similarities between Sumerian myths and other ancient civilizations around the world. The concept of sky gods or deities descending from the heavens is not unique to Mesopotamia. It appears across nearly every major civilization in history. In ancient Egypt, the gods Osiris, Thoth, and Ra were described as heavenly beings who came to earth, bringing wisdom and civilization to humanity. Pharaohs claimed to be direct descendants of these gods, similar to how Sumerian rulers were believed to have been appointed by the Anunnaki. The Mayan civilization worshipped Kukulkan, a feathered serpent deity who descended from the sky and taught them astronomy, agriculture, and mathematics. In Hindu mythology, the Devas and Asuras were powerful celestial beings who descended to earth, waged wars, and influenced human affairs. Many Hindu texts even describe flying craft called vimanas, which sound eerily similar to modern depictions of spacecraft. The Greek gods of Mount Olympus were also beings from the heavens who interacted with humans, sometimes even procreating with them, creating demigods, a theme that also appears in Sumerian myths. The Bible contains numerous references to divine beings descending from the heavens, such as the Nephilim, described in Genesis as the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men. Some researchers speculate that these sons of God could be references to the Anunnaki or similar entities. Could these global myths all stem from a single ancient experience, an event where early humans encountered highly advanced beings mistaken for gods? If so, did these beings ever truly leave, or did they simply fade into legend, waiting for their time to return? Perhaps the most controversial interpretation of the Anunnaki comes from Zecharia Sitchin, a researcher who spent decades analyzing ancient Sumerian texts. Sitchin proposed a radical theory. The Anunnaki were not gods, but an advanced extraterrestrial species that came to Earth for a very specific reason: gold. According to Sitchin, the Sumerian creation myth describes how the Anunnaki genetically engineered early humans to serve as a labor force for gold mining operations. In his book, The 12th Planet, he claims that the Anunnaki came from a distant planet called Nibiru, which follows a long, elliptical orbit around the sun. According to his theory, when the Anunnaki arrived on Earth, they needed workers to mine gold, which they allegedly used to repair the atmosphere of their home planet. Sitchin believed that Homo sapiens were created through genetic manipulation, blending Anunnaki DNA with that of early hominins, giving rise to the first intelligent human beings, Adamu, Adam, a name that appears strikingly similar to the biblical Adam. He also pointed out the unnatural evolutionary leap in human history, the sudden emergence of advanced civilizations with no clear gradual development. Could this be because our ancestors received direct intervention from an advanced species? If the Anunnaki were indeed real beings, divine or otherwise, the biggest mystery remains: where did they go? Why did so many ancient cultures tell stories of gods that descended from the sky, ruled over humans, and then suddenly vanished? Did they leave Earth willingly, or were they forced to flee? Some theories suggest that they simply completed their mission and departed, leaving humanity to evolve independently. Others propose that they never truly left, but instead went into hiding, perhaps living among us in secret, guiding world events from behind the scenes. Even more disturbing are theories suggesting that they may one day return, reclaiming their dominion over the planet. Could the Anunnaki still be watching us? Have they been guiding human civilization in subtle ways, ensuring that we reach a certain level of advancement before re-establishing contact? Or conversely, are they waiting for humanity to destroy itself, only to return and start again? To truly understand the Anunnaki mystery, we must examine the ancient texts that document their presence. The Sumerian king list, for example, details kings who ruled for thousands of years, which some believe are records of Anunnaki rulers before the rise of human civilization. The Epic of Gilgamesh contains direct interactions between a Sumerian king and divine beings, suggesting that the Anunnaki were not just myths, but historical figures. But if this information is so compelling, why is mainstream archaeology so quick to dismiss it? Could it be that the truth about the Anunnaki is too dangerous, too paradigm-shifting for modern society to accept? We will examine the shocking records that might hold the key to humanity's forgotten past. The truth may be closer than we ever imagined. Throughout history, civilizations have recorded their myths, legends, and knowledge in written form. Among all these ancient texts, few are as controversial and mysterious as those from Sumeria, the world's first known civilization. These texts contain astonishing descriptions of gods who descended from the skies, rulers who lived for thousands of years, and unexplained scientific advancements that seem far beyond their time. Could these simply be mythological tales, or do they provide real evidence of extraterrestrial intervention in human history? At the heart of these writings are three of the most significant ancient records: the Enuma Elish, the Epic of Gilgamesh, and the Sumerian king list. These texts describe celestial beings who shaped humanity, divine rulers with impossibly long lifespans, and knowledge of the universe that was shockingly precise for a civilization over 6,000 years old. Even more astonishing is how Sumerian knowledge of astronomy, mathematics, and advanced technology suggests a level of intelligence far beyond what should have been possible at the time. Did the Sumerians discover all of this knowledge on their own, or were they taught by beings not of this earth? Could their records be the first written accounts of an ancient extraterrestrial presence? The Enuma Elish, one of the oldest known creation myths, tells the story of how the world was formed. However, this Sumerian and Babylonian epic differs significantly from later religious texts, as it describes celestial battles and godlike beings descending from the sky to shape the earth. One of the most intriguing elements of this text is the story of Tiamat, a great celestial entity that was split apart to form Earth and the heavens. Some scholars have noted the striking resemblance between this myth and modern scientific theories of planetary formation. But the most shocking part of the Enuma Elish is its detailed descriptions of gods coming down from the heavens to establish dominion over the earth. The Anunnaki are heavily featured in this creation story, where they arrive from the sky and take control of the world. But were these gods truly divine beings, or could they have been flesh and blood extraterrestrials with advanced technology? Some researchers argue that the Enuma Elish documents the arrival of non-human entities who played a direct role in humanity's development. Even more puzzling is the similarity between this creation story and the book of Genesis in the Bible. If the Enuma Elish predates Genesis by thousands of years, could later religious texts have been influenced by actual historical events involving advanced beings? One of the most bizarre and unexplained ancient texts is the Sumerian king list, a record of kings and dynasties dating back to the dawn of civilization. What makes this document so mysterious is the lifespan of these early rulers. The first kings of Sumer reportedly ruled for tens of thousands of years before a great flood wiped out civilization. For example, the first king, Alulim, is said to have ruled for 28,800 years. while others reigned for similarly impossible lengths of time. Were these simply symbolic numbers exaggerated to emphasize their divine authority? Or were these early rulers not human at all, but Anunnaki overlords who governed before withdrawing from Earth? It is also fascinating to compare this with the biblical patriarchs in Genesis, many of whom, such as Methuselah and Noah, are said to have lived for hundreds of years. Could these stories be distorted versions of a real historical truth, where early gods were actually beings with extended lifespans or advanced genetic traits? If the Sumerian king list contains even a grain of truth, it suggests that the first civilizations were ruled by non-human entities who possessed knowledge and abilities far beyond our comprehension. The Sumerians are credited with inventing writing, agriculture, astronomy, and mathematics. But how did they achieve such advancement so quickly? Accurately map the solar system, including planets that were not officially discovered until modern times. Knew the exact movements of celestial bodies, something that should have been impossible without telescopes. Developed an advanced numerical system, which is still used today in the 60-second minute, 60-minute hour, and 360-degree circle. Had medical texts that described surgeries, pharmaceuticals, and genetic traits. The most shocking part of this knowledge is that the Sumerians themselves claimed they did not develop it on their own. Instead, they insisted that their knowledge was given to them by the Anunnaki, who they referred to as their divine teachers. If this is true, then who were the Anunnaki really? Were they simply deified ancestors, or did an advanced intelligence truly intervene in human history? The ancient texts paint a compelling picture, one where the Anunnaki were not just myths, but real beings who descended from the heavens. Some researchers believe that these records provide evidence of an ancient alien presence that shaped human evolution. The Enuma Elish, Epic of Gilgamesh, and Sumerian king list all contain striking references to beings who ruled, taught, and eventually left, just as modern UFO sightings suggest extraterrestrials may have done throughout history. If these ancient gods were truly extraterrestrials, then the implications are staggering. It would mean that humanity was influenced or even created by a non-human intelligence. Modern religions may be based on real encounters with advanced beings. We may still be watched, guided, or even controlled by forces. The origins of human life remain one of the greatest mysteries in history. While mainstream science attributes the evolution of Homo sapiens to natural selection and gradual development, ancient Sumerian texts suggest an entirely different story, one that involves genetic engineering, extraterrestrial intervention, and a deliberate act of creation by the Anunnaki. According to the Sumerian creation myth, humanity did not evolve naturally. Instead, it was engineered by powerful beings from the heavens, known as the Anunnaki, who altered early hominins to create the first humans. This ancient account, written in cuneiform over 5,000 years ago, describes a process that sounds eerily similar to modern theories of genetic manipulation. But could these ancient texts be describing a real historical event? Did an advanced intelligence interfere with human evolution to shape us into what we are today? One of the most controversial interpretations of this story comes from Zecharia Sitchin, who believed that the Anunnaki were not mythical gods, but an advanced extraterrestrial species that came to Earth for a very specific purpose. According to his theory, humans were not created out of divine love or chance evolution, but as a labor force for the gods. The Sumerians even had a name for this first genetically engineered human, Adamu, a name that bears an uncanny resemblance to the biblical Adam. Could it be that the creation of humankind was not a random event, but a deliberate act of bioengineering by an ancient alien species? And if so, does modern science provide any evidence that supports this shocking possibility? The Sumerian creation myth, found in ancient cuneiform texts, tells of the Anunnaki arriving on Earth and establishing a colony. These powerful beings, described as coming from the heavens, were said to be highly intelligent, organized, and technologically advanced. But despite their power, they faced a problem. They needed a workforce to help them carry out their tasks on Earth. The texts describe a council of gods deliberating over a solution. Instead of doing the work themselves, one of the Anunnaki suggested creating a new being, a hybrid that could carry out their labor. This being would be part Anunnaki and part Earth creature, effectively making it a genetically engineered servant. The story goes that the Anunnaki selected an early hominin, possibly an ancestor of modern humans, and altered its DNA. This genetic modification resulted in the creation of the first humans, known as the Adamu. This name is eerily similar to Adam from the biblical book of Genesis, which describes how the first man was created by divine beings. The Sumerian texts suggest that this was not a divine miracle, but rather a scientific process, where the Anunnaki acted as genetic engineers, manipulating the existing species to create a new, intelligent life form. The creation of Adamu was followed by the creation of the first female, mirroring the biblical account of Adam and Eve. But unlike religious texts, the Sumerian version explicitly describes experiments, trials, and even genetic failures before achieving the final human form. Could this be evidence that human beings were genetically designed by an advanced species rather than evolving naturally? And if this is true, what does it mean for our understanding of human origins? One of the most perplexing mysteries of human evolution is the so-called missing link. The sudden and unexplained leap in human intelligence and capability that occurred around 200,000 years ago. According to mainstream science, humans evolved gradually over millions of years. However, anthropologists and geneticists have long debated why Homo sapiens emerged so rapidly, displaying intelligence, culture, and technological skills far beyond any previous hominin species. There is no clear evolutionary pathway that explains why our ancestors suddenly developed advanced cognition, language, and culture at such an unprecedented rate. Some scientists have even suggested the possibility of genetic anomalies in human DNA that appear unnatural or highly advanced for their time. This has led some researchers to question whether external intervention, possibly from an advanced intelligence, played a role in shaping early humans. Zecharia Sitchin's theory aligns with this question. He proposed that the Anunnaki manipulated early hominins to create a hybrid species with enhanced intelligence, humans. He argued that this genetic alteration explains the missing link in human evolution and why early civilizations like the Sumerians suddenly possessed knowledge far beyond their time. While mainstream science rejects the idea of extraterrestrial genetic engineering, modern discoveries in genetics have raised new questions. The presence of junk DNA, unexplained genetic mutations, and anomalies in human chromosome structures have led some researchers to speculate that our genetic makeup may not be entirely natural. Could the Anunnaki have been responsible for these early genetic changes? Sitchin's interpretation of the Sumerian texts suggests that the Anunnaki did not create humans out of benevolence, but out of necessity. According to the ancient records, the Anunnaki came to Earth in search of resources, particularly gold, which they supposedly needed to sustain their home planet, Nibiru. The text suggests that early Anunnaki workers grew tired of the harsh labor and demanded a replacement. This led to the decision to create a new species, one intelligent enough to follow orders, but dependent enough to remain subservient. This idea aligns with many ancient myths that describe humans as servants of the gods. For example, the Bible describes Adam and Eve as caretakers of the Garden of Eden, expected to maintain and cultivate it. The Hindu Vedas describe early humans as workers created by God to perform earthly tasks. The Greek myths speak of the Titan Prometheus, who defied the gods by giving humans knowledge. If this interpretation is correct, then humanity was not created as an act of divine will, but as a means to an end. But what happened after our creation? Did the Anunnaki eventually abandon their experiment, allowing humans to evolve independently? Or did they remain, watching and influencing us from the shadows? The Sumerian creation story and the biblical story of Adam and Eve share striking similarities. The name Adamu appears in the Sumerian texts long before the Bible was written, suggesting that the biblical Adam may have been inspired by these earlier accounts. Both texts describe a first man created by divine beings, a female companion created afterward, a paradise-like environment from which the first humans were later removed. the introduction of forbidden knowledge that led to human independence. Could it be that the Genesis story is a simplified retelling of a much older event, one that originally involved genetic engineering by an advanced race? If so, the Anunnaki may have played a direct role in shaping human history, and our understanding of creation may need to be re-examined entirely. Were we created for labor, or were we meant for something greater? Are we part of an ongoing experiment still monitored by these beings? Could our genetic origins hold the key to unlocking hidden abilities or knowledge? These questions challenge everything we think we know about who we are and where we came from. If the Sumerians were right, then our creators may not have been gods at all, but visitors from beyond the stars. For centuries, humanity has marveled at the incredible structures and artifacts left behind by ancient civilizations. Massive pyramids, precision-cut megalithic stones, and inexplicable artifacts suggest that our ancestors may have possessed knowledge far beyond what traditional archaeology acknowledges. Could it be that these civilizations did not develop this knowledge on their own, but were instead gifted with advanced technology by the Anunnaki? The Anunnaki, described in ancient Sumerian texts as beings who descended from the heavens, were believed to be highly advanced in science, engineering, and possibly even space travel. If they were real, it raises an astonishing possibility. Could remnants of their technology still exist today? Are the great ancient wonders of the world evidence of their presence? In this section, we will explore evidence from ancient artifacts, mysterious megalithic structures, and unexplained technological advancements that may support the theory that the Anunnaki were not only present on Earth, but also left behind technological marvels far beyond human comprehension. The Sumerians, Egyptians, Mayans, and other ancient civilizations built structures and developed knowledge that still baffles modern scientists. Many of their engineering feats seem impossible to replicate even with today's most advanced tools. Could these early cultures have had help from a technologically superior civilization? Ancient Sumerian tablets describe the Anunnaki as possessing divine objects, tools and machines capable of flight, energy manipulation, and possibly even genetic engineering. The Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation myth, speaks of celestial chariots and flying objects, while the Epic of Gilgamesh describes sky-traveling beings. Some of these descriptions sound shockingly similar to modern aircraft, spacecraft, and even artificial intelligence. If the Anunnaki were an advanced species, it stands to reason that they may have left physical evidence of their technology behind. Some researchers argue that certain ancient artifacts and structures could be remnants of this lost knowledge, technology that we still do not fully understand. Several artifacts have been discovered that seem to suggest anomalous technology existed in ancient times. Here are a few of the most mysterious. 1. The Vimanas, ancient flying machines. Vimanas are described in Hindu Vedic texts as flying chariots used by gods. These ancient descriptions closely resemble modern aircraft or spacecraft, with references to metallic flying craft with engines fueled by mysterious energy sources, aerial battles between divine beings using advanced weapons, blueprint-like descriptions of how Vimanas functioned, including speed control, invisibility, and propulsion. Some researchers believe the Vimanas could be evidence that ancient civilizations witnessed and possibly even used Anunnaki technology. If the Anunnaki truly traveled between the stars, could they have been used to power ancient devices, illuminate structures, or even energize advanced tools left behind by the Anunnaki? 3. The Nazca Lines, messages for the gods. The Nazca Lines, massive geoglyphs etched into the Peruvian desert, depict animals, humanoid figures, and geometric shapes that are only visible from the sky. These lines remain one of the greatest archaeological mysteries. Some believe that the Nazca people created these as messages or landing markers for extraterrestrial visitors. Their precision and massive scale raise questions about how an ancient culture without flight technology could design such perfect aerial images. Could these have been created with guidance from the Anunnaki, serving as landing sites or signals for their return? Beyond artifacts, there are massive structures around the world that continue to puzzle archaeologists. These sites contain stone blocks weighing hundreds of tons, precisely cut and transported with techniques unknown to modern engineers. Could these impossible structures be remnants of Anunnaki technology? 1. The Pyramids of Egypt, built with alien assistance. The Great Pyramid of Giza remains an architectural and engineering enigma. Despite being over 4,500 years old, it aligns perfectly with true north and other celestial bodies, contains mathematical constants like pi and the golden ratio, suggesting advanced knowledge of geometry, has stone blocks weighing up to 80 tons transported from quarries hundreds of miles away. Ancient Egyptian texts describe the god Thoth and the sky gods helping build the pyramids. Could this be a reference to Anunnaki engineers using advanced technology? 2. Baalbek, the largest stones ever moved. The ancient ruins of Baalbek, Lebanon, house the largest megalithic stones on Earth, with some weighing over 1,200 tons. These stones were precisely placed in a way that modern cranes would struggle to achieve. Some believe Baalbek was an Anunnaki landing site, and that its massive stones were positioned using anti-gravity or advanced lifting technology. 3. Pumapunku, precision engineering in the Andes. Located in Bolivia, Pumapunku is a mysterious stone complex with intricately cut andesite blocks, some of the hardest materials on Earth. These blocks fit together like puzzle pieces with perfectly drilled holes that even modern laser cutting technology would struggle to replicate. Archaeologists have no explanation for how the primitive people of the time could have achieved this level of precision. Some believe this was evidence of lost Anunnaki engineering. The precise construction, impossible weights, and advanced design of these ancient artifacts and structures challenge everything we know about early human civilizations. Could the Anunnaki have taught early humans how to harness advanced technology, or did they leave behind remnants of their machines only to be misinterpreted as religious symbols? Mainstream historians argue that these structures were built using primitive tools and manpower, but their explanations fail to address why some of these technologies vanished instead of evolving over time, how cultures across the globe, separated by thousands of miles, created eerily similar advanced structures, why so many myths and texts refer to gods with flying machines, powerful weapons, and celestial knowledge. If the Anunnaki truly possessed advanced technology, it is possible that some of their machines remain buried or hidden, waiting to be discovered. The evidence from ancient artifacts and megalithic structures suggests that humanity's technological history is far older and more mysterious than we've been told. Whether through direct intervention, lost knowledge, or hidden technology, the Anunnaki may have played a role in shaping early human civilizations. Could we one day rediscover the lost secrets of Anunnaki technology? If we do, will it change everything we know about our history, our origins, and even our future? For centuries, flood myths have been passed down through various cultures around the world. The story of a great deluge wiping out humanity appears in the Bible, Hindu scriptures, Greek mythology, and countless other ancient texts. But perhaps the oldest and most detailed version of this story comes from the Sumerians, who describe a flood that nearly ended human civilization, one that was directly linked to the Anunnaki. If these texts are accurate, they raise an astonishing question. Did the Anunnaki cause the flood? And if so, why? Some researchers suggest that the Great Flood was not just a natural disaster, but a planned event, orchestrated by the Anunnaki as part of their final act before leaving Earth. But why did they leave? Were they forced to abandon Earth, or did they simply withdraw into the shadows, waiting for the right moment to return? Even more intriguing is the art and symbols left behind by ancient cultures, which seem to depict space travel, celestial beings, and what could be descriptions of ships departing Earth. Could these be evidence of the Anunnaki's final departure from our world? In this section, we will explore the Sumerian flood myths, the Anunnaki's warning to humanity, their mysterious disappearance, and the possibility of their return. The Sumerian version of the Great Flood predates the biblical story of Noah's Ark by thousands of years. It is found in the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the world's oldest known written stories, and describes a catastrophic deluge that wiped out most of human civilization. In this story, the gods, led by Enlil, one of the most powerful Anunnaki rulers, decide that humanity has become too numerous and disruptive, and they plan to eradicate mankind with a flood. However, another Anunnaki god, Enki, who is more sympathetic toward humans, warns a man named Utnapishtim, the Sumerian equivalent of Noah, and instructs him to build a massive boat to survive the disaster. When the floodwaters finally subside, Utnapishtim's boat lands on a mountain, much like Noah's Ark in the Bible. The gods then regret their decision, realizing that humanity was not meant to be destroyed. They grant Utnapishtim eternal life as a reward for his survival. This ancient story is nearly identical to the biblical account of Noah. But why does this flood myth appear all over the world, from the Americas to China to the Middle East? Could it be that this was not just a myth, but an actual event that impacted early human civilizations? Even more importantly, if the Anunnaki were involved, was this flood part of a larger plan? The Sumerian texts suggest that not all of the Anunnaki agreed with the decision to flood the earth. Enki, one of the key Anunnaki figures, deliberately defied the decision of the ruling council and warned humanity. This implies that there may have been a conflict among the Anunnaki, some wanting to preserve human life while others sought to reset civilization entirely. Could this mean that different factions of the Anunnaki had different plans for humanity? Did some of them want to destroy humanity to start over? Did others believe in human potential and wish to see them evolve? Were these opposing factions responsible for shaping different human civilizations in the aftermath? Some researchers suggest that the flood may have been a way for the Anunnaki to wipe the slate clean, destroying early human knowledge and resetting civilization. If true, this would explain why so many ancient cultures suddenly appeared after the flood with no clear link to their predecessors. But why would an advanced species abandon the planet after such an event? Was the flood a final act before they departed, or did something force them to leave? The disappearance of the Anunnaki is one of the greatest mysteries in ancient history. If they were truly responsible for creating, guiding, and ruling over early humanity, then why did they suddenly vanish from historical records? There are several theories as to why the Anunnaki may have left Earth. 1. Their mission was completed. Some researchers believe that the Anunnaki came to Earth for a specific reason, possibly to mine resources like gold, and once their mission was accomplished, they had no reason to stay. The Great Flood may have been a way to cover up their tracks, erasing their influence before leaving. 2. They were forced to leave. Another theory suggests that a cosmic or planetary event forced the Anunnaki to retreat. If they came from Nibiru, as Zecharia Sitchin proposed, then its elliptical orbit may have taken it too far away, making it impossible for them to stay. Alternatively, an interstellar war or natural disaster could have driven them away. 3. They went into hiding. What if the Anunnaki never actually left? Some believe that they may have gone underground or disguised themselves, continuing to influence human civilization from the shadows. This theory suggests that they still monitor human progress, waiting for the right time to reveal themselves again. 4. They will return. Many ancient prophecies and religious texts speak of the return of the gods. Could it be that the Anunnaki simply left temporarily and will one day reappear? Some even speculate that modern UFO sightings and extraterrestrial encounters could be evidence that the Anunnaki are still watching us. If they do return, will they come as benevolent gods, or will they see us as a failed experiment that needs to be reset once more? Ancient cultures left behind incredible works of art, many of which contain strange and unexplained imagery. Some of these artifacts depict figures that appear to be wearing helmets, suits, and other gear that resemble modern astronauts. Could these be representations of the Anunnaki before they departed? Here are some of the most intriguing examples. 1. The ancient Sumerian cylinder seals. Some of the oldest Sumerian cylinder seals depict beings in flying crafts, with strange symbols that some believe represent the solar system, complete with planets that were unknown at the time. 2. The Mayan King Pakal's sarcophagus. The lid of King Pakal's tomb in Palenque, Mexico, shows an image that many believe looks like a man inside a spacecraft, complete with controls and propulsion flames. 3. The Dogon tribe's knowledge of Sirius. The Dogon tribe in Africa has an ancient legend of gods coming from the Sirius star system, describing astronomical details about the Sirius binary system that modern science only confirmed in the 20th century. Could these artistic depictions and cultural myths be memories of the Anunnaki's final departure from Earth? The Great Flood, the Anunnaki's disappearance, and ancient artwork depicting space travel all raise one final question: will the Anunnaki come back? Many ancient prophecies, including the Book of Revelation, the Hindu Kalki prophecy, and even Hopi legends, speak of a time when the gods will return to judge humanity. Could these legends be predicting the Anunnaki's second coming? And if they do return, will they reveal the truth of our origins, or will they reset human civilization once more? For centuries, reports of strange aerial phenomena, mysterious encounters, and unexplained disappearances have persisted across cultures worldwide. While mainstream science often dismisses these events as misinterpretations or hoaxes, many researchers argue that these encounters are far too consistent to ignore. Could it be that the Anunnaki never truly left Earth, but have instead continued to observe, interact with, and possibly influence humanity from the shadows? Modern UFO sightings and their connections to ancient astronaut theories. Government cover-ups and declassified documents hinting at extraterrestrial involvement. The eerie similarities between ancient gods and modern alien encounters. Whether humanity is on the verge of re-establishing contact with the Anunnaki. The evidence suggests that the Anunnaki may not just be a forgotten chapter of history, but an active presence in our world today. If the Anunnaki were present on Earth in ancient times, is it possible that they have continued to visit, or have never truly left? Some researchers and whistleblowers claim that certain UFO encounters bear striking similarities to the ancient descriptions of the Anunnaki. While UFO sightings are often associated with the modern era, historical records of strange flying objects date back thousands of years. The Tuli Papyrus, ancient Egypt, 1440 BCE, describes fiery disks in the sky that alarmed Pharaoh Thutmose III. The Nuremberg UFO battle, Germany, 1561, an event recorded in newspapers, describes aerial crafts engaging in a battle over the city. The Foo Fighters, Wu-Wu-Tu. Allied pilots reported glowing orbs following their aircraft, behaving in ways that defied known physics. Are these simply misinterpretations of natural phenomena, or have advanced beings been monitoring Earth for centuries? In recent years, multiple governments have declassified official reports on UFOs, admitting that unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, exist and that their capabilities far surpass human technology. Some of the most shocking revelations include the Pentagon's UAP report, 2021, acknowledging that many UFO sightings by military personnel remain unexplained. The Roswell incident, 1947, one of the most famous UFO crashes, which many believe was covered up by the U.S. government. The Tic Tac UFO encounter, 2004, U.S. Navy pilots tracked a flying object that defied the laws of physics, accelerating at unimaginable speeds and making abrupt turns impossible for human-made craft. Could these sightings be evidence that the Anunnaki are still here, possibly operating in secrecy? Throughout history, descriptions of gods, celestial beings, and advanced visitors have remained surprisingly consistent across cultures. When comparing these descriptions to modern alien encounters, disturbing similarities emerge. In Sumerian myths, the Anunnaki were often depicted as tall, glowing, and humanoid. In modern UFO accounts, many abductees describe encountering tall, luminous beings with elongated features. Biblical references to the Nephilim, fallen angels, and watchers also share these characteristics. 2. The hybridization and genetic experimentation theory. The Anunnaki were said to have genetically engineered humans to serve as a labor force. Modern alien abduction accounts frequently report medical examinations, hybridization experiments, and genetic modifications. Some believe that the current surge in genetic technology, CRISPR, DNA editing, is linked to an extraterrestrial influence guiding human progress. Number 3. Time distortions and otherworldly realms. Ancient myths describe gods disappearing and returning centuries later, seemingly unchanged by time. With the rise of technological advancements, space exploration, and artificial intelligence, many believe that humanity is getting closer to an inevitable revelation. one that may involve the return of the Anunnaki. Reports of UFO encounters have skyrocketed in recent years, particularly in areas near military bases and nuclear facilities. The US government has openly admitted that UAPs exist and that they cannot be explained using current technology. The discovery of exoplanets and the search for extraterrestrial life. In the last 2 decades, astronomers have discovered thousands of exoplanets in the habitable zone of distant stars. The James Webb Space Telescope is now capable of detecting potential biosignatures on alien worlds. Some believe that if an advanced species like the Anunnaki exists, they may soon decide that humanity is ready to learn the truth. The ancient prophecies of the gods' return. Many ancient cultures predicted that their gods would one day return. The Book of Revelation speaks of a second coming in celestial battles. The Hopi prophecy warns that the star people will return to restore balance. The Hindu Vedas speak of a final avatar, Kalki, who will descend from the heavens. If these prophecies are not metaphorical, could they be predicting the return of the Anunnaki? If the Anunnaki or another advanced extraterrestrial race makes contact, it could change everything we know about religion. Would humanity be forced to rethink its spiritual beliefs? Science and technology? Could they share knowledge that would propel us centuries ahead? Government and power. Would human governments lose control over the planet's future? Many theorists argue that governments and secret organizations may already be aware of this impending contact, which could explain the decades of secrecy surrounding UFO research. If the Anunnaki have been monitoring us all along, they may soon decide whether humanity is worthy of joining them, or if history is doomed to repeat itself. The connections between ancient gods, modern UFO encounters, and government secrecy suggest that something far bigger is at play. If the Anunnaki were once here, and if they never truly left, humanity may soon face the greatest revelation in history. The question remains, are we ready for the truth? With the rise of technological advancements, space exploration, and artificial intelligence, many believe that humanity is getting closer to an inevitable revelation, one that may involve the return of the Anunnaki. Reports of UFO encounters have skyrocketed in recent years, particularly in areas near military bases and nuclear facilities. The US government has openly admitted that UAPs exist and that they cannot be explained using current technology. The discovery of exoplanets and the search for extraterrestrial life. In the last 2 decades, astronomers have discovered thousands of exoplanets in the habitable zone of distant stars. The James Webb Space Telescope is now capable of detecting potential biosignatures on alien worlds. Some believe that if an advanced species like the Anunnaki exists, they may soon decide that humanity is ready to learn the truth. The ancient prophecies of the gods' return. Many ancient cultures predicted that their gods would one day return. The Book of Revelation speaks of a second coming in celestial battles. The Hopi prophecy warns that the star people will return to restore balance. The Hindu Vedas speak of a final avatar, Kalki, who will descend from the heavens. If these prophecies are not metaphorical, could they be predicting the return of the Anunnaki? If the Anunnaki or another advanced extraterrestrial race makes contact, it could change everything we know about religion. Would humanity be forced to rethink its spiritual beliefs? Science and technology? Could they share knowledge that would propel us centuries ahead? Government and power. Would human governments lose control over the planet's future? Many theorists argue that governments and secret organizations may already be aware of this impending contact, which could explain the decades of secrecy surrounding UFO research. If the Anunnaki have been monitoring us all along, they may soon decide whether humanity is worthy of joining them, or if history is doomed to repeat itself. The connections between ancient gods, modern UFO encounters, and government secrecy suggest that something far bigger is at play. If the Anunnaki were once here, and if they never truly left, humanity may soon face the greatest revelation in history. The question remains, are we ready for the truth? From the dawn of civilization to the modern age, the mystery of the Anunnaki has captivated scholars, historians, and truth-seekers alike. Were these ancient beings merely myths, or were they real entities who played a direct role in shaping human history. Throughout this journey, we've explored shocking evidence hidden in ancient texts, lost knowledge that defies conventional explanations, and artifacts that seem to hint at technology far beyond what was possible thousands of years ago. We've uncovered the striking similarities between myths from around the world, the sudden leaps in human evolution, and even the possibility that humanity itself was genetically engineered. If the Sumerian accounts are true, it means that everything we know about our origins may need to be rewritten. It means that humans were not alone in their development, and that an advanced race, possibly from beyond this planet, played a direct role in our creation, advancement, and perhaps even our destiny. But the biggest question still remains: where did the Anunnaki go? And are they still watching us? If the Anunnaki were real, the implications are staggering. It would mean humanity may not be the product of purely natural evolution, but rather the result of genetic manipulation by an advanced race. The gods of ancient myths were not divine spirits, but real, tangible beings with knowledge and power far beyond our comprehension. Ancient civilizations were not primitive, but may have been influenced by superior intelligence, giving them access to technology and wisdom that we are only now beginning to rediscover. The flood myths, the stories of celestial rulers, and even the legends of the gods returning one day could all be pointing to a real historical event, one that has been covered up, forgotten, or hidden in plain sight. But perhaps most disturbingly, it could mean that the Anunnaki never truly left. Modern UFO encounters, government cover-ups, and unexplained phenomena suggest that extraterrestrial activity is still ongoing. Could it be that the Anunnaki have never left Earth at all, but instead gone underground, into hiding, or beyond human detection? The Anunnaki completed their mission and departed, leaving humans to evolve and progress independently. They are still monitoring us, waiting for the right moment to return, whether as observers, guides, or something else entirely. If the Anunnaki were truly the creators of humanity, would they allow their creation to destroy itself? Or would they intervene before it was too late? Many ancient prophecies speak of a time when the gods will return. Could we be approaching that moment? If the Anunnaki do return, how will humanity react? Will we embrace them as our ancient creators, or will we fear their influence and power? The greatest mystery of all is not whether the Anunnaki were here, but whether their return is inevitable. If they never truly left, then perhaps their presence has been guiding us all along, pushing us toward a destiny we have yet to understand. This leads to the ultimate question: when they do return, will they see us as their greatest creation or their greatest failure? The mysteries of the Anunnaki, ancient aliens, and lost civilizations are far from solved. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into forbidden history, extraterrestrial theories, and the secrets of our past, make sure to like this video if you believe the Anunnaki could be real. Comment below: do you think they are still watching us? Subscribe and turn on notifications for more deep dives into hidden history, ancient technology, and the mysteries of our past. This is just the beginning. The truth is out there, waiting to be uncovered.